So Tommy is going to be the NL player, and then Ezekiel will be the Boa. So we'll pan over to the player screen right here. So you can see
Yeah.
them. Here you go.
And
Tommy is on the
Nels,
right, and Ezekiel on the left.
and Nels gonna want to hope to see as much top end as possible. Um, That's fine.
You're cool. Wait till you see Ezekiel's Don
Yeah.
using Gen Con promo Luffy's.
Yeah. But
There
yeah,
you go, the Gen Con promo on the field right there.
yeah. And Nels gonna want to see as much top end as possible, which I know like that's Nels game plan, but it's mostly because Boa's just gonna keep getting rid of them with Red Rocks and also bouncing back with Kaidos.
hmm
But Boa, I think if they're able to establish one or two Kaidos pretty quickly and Enel can't answer it, that's where Enel's just in a really bad situation.
Yeah. Also, the only thing is the Nell will starve out the Boa to, again, get to the top end, like how you were saying. Getting to their Yamatos. Um,
Yeah.
if they do drop the 10 drop Kaidos, which I believe Ezekiel is playing the bounce Kaido,
Yes. Yeah, the
he
bounce Kaido.
Enel does have the Rygos to be able to answer it.
Yeah.
Yep, Tommy is on stream, made it to top cut, second round in the finals. If he wins this, we'll be going on to the finals to potentially win $400 in store credit. So we got an up north local player and we have a south local player
Yeah.
right here. Battle of north and south.
Yeah, it's been a while since I played Boa. Not that it necessarily changes its game plan, but I can't remember if there's been any like super like good additions as of late.
hmm
Um, with the past couple sets since Boa has been released.
Yeah, I don't think Boa is going to change much next set either. I do know Enel gets the X-Drakes to
And
be able to
now,
rest characters and kind of put pressure on like Blackbeard, which is one of its worst matchups.
yeah, it gets the X Drakes. I can't remember. I think is that three cost Heat and Wire already
Mm,
out, or maybe not.
no, I
But
don't think
that's a
so.
card that I've been running two of in my NL, and it at first I didn't love it, but it actually turned out to be an amazing card.
And then in EBO2, you do get the 10 drop Enel as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Being
that
able to have a
NL,
rush top end.
yeah, that NL is so good. Obviously the rush, and one of the biggest things is having a 11K static body that makes some swings harder.
Hmm? All right. So we are starting the round. Boa is going first. He lost the dice roll. Ezekiel lost dice roll.
Yeah, because Boa really doesn't need to. I would prefer to go second in this matchup.
He almost forgot his life cards.
Well, he uses ability and heal.
Start healing off rip.
Yeah.
Oh, ain't no way. This man's using Impel Down Buggy all
Yeah.
words. Interesting. You do see the Boa use the Perona to stack, and Ezekiel's poking for 5, and then restacking again with this Dofi. Basically digging one card deeper into the deck.
Yeah.
Probably trying to see if he can find any bounce cards to start working. Oh, Kuzan. Is
Yeah.
it on play, put a 3-drop or less to the life and trash one?
Yes.
Ends up trashing that blocker law, but also very great for the NL. Bringing the Boa up to 6 life now. Getting him closer to be able to pop some 10 cost bodies.
Yeah, this is a matchup where it's okay to give the heal your opponent. Because Kuzan is just a really good card in general, but there is some matchups where, like against Shanks, I almost never want to do that because healing Shanks is difficult. Obviously, like in EBO2 and stuff, I don't mind it as much.
Yeah. And you do see he did bounce the Kuzan back to hand, so Tommy will be able to utilize it again. The bottom the Perona to the life. But Ezekiel needed it for rearranging. Yep, so
Yep.
there it goes. The Kuzan bottom decking the Perona and trashing another card. So even though Boa wants to draw cards, he's making him discard them with this
He's
one
making him
Kuzan.
discard the things he wants.
And then establishing the Shirahoshi to kind
Yep.
of give some, you know, blocker to,
And then also, too, healing Boa this much and playing the Starve strategy. I mean, your Yamatos are just going to be way more effective.
now it's 7 life, yeah. You can pop a 10
Yeah.
cost right now with a Yamato. So Ezekiel in a pretty rough spot here.
Because I could see him, yeah, again, like you said, starving Boa, which is kind of an oxymoron. But, I think he might want to keep him at a life total where he can Yamato his 6-cost Boas.
Yeah,
Because
those
all his
two.
other pop effect, well, even Gadatsu can
Yeah.
pop high now.
Yep, Gadatsu is in range for anything. And decides to swing 7 and then a Shirahoshi trigger. Draw
Shirahoshi.
3 and then gonna trash 2 here. Oh, trashes
He's-
Darashi. What else is he gonna pitch here? Got a lot of options in this NL's hand right now. Dropping the 2K Frankie.
Also, too, he's going to have to be wary of putting at some point.
Yeah, that is true. Chooses to swing 7 again at leader.
I think this is now where he's thinking about putting.
Three down. Chooses to take it just because obviously won't be able to play putting this turn. And now Nell is pretty much where it wants to be at 1 life.
Yep.
Clears the law, swinging 8 at it. And then
5
establishing
for
Rocket
Luffy.
Luffy. Which now Boa plays a lot of 4-cost bodies. He'll be able to answer whatever Ezekiel
Yep.
plays here.
Bo's at 9.
Oh,
Yep.
bottom decks the Egghead Luffy with the Mihawk.
Yep.
But I think, no, 7, 8. So the Mihawk is out of range for a Yamato pop,
Yep.
which is good for Ezekiel here. Oh, rush ace, healing 1. And the ace gets rushed since he was at 2 life. Or he is
Yeah.
at 2 life.
So just because he played the ace here, unless he's saving it for later, I'm guessing he doesn't have Raigo, because I would have just got rid of that right away. But again, maybe he's waiting for Kaido.
Now, do we start? I would start taking life here for Ezekiel. I know he wants to be at low hand size, but
Yeah, I would definitely start taking some.
it could give him more options, and not only that, protect him from Yamato pops later in the game.
Yeah. I mean, countering 1 time isn't too bad either, because he doesn't want to take 3 life right off the rip, to be honest.
So he chose to pass there. Honestly, right here, he starts poking at the Kuzan right there with the Boa leader. I think I did see a Kaido in hand as well.
Yes, he does have the 10 cost pounds Kaido.
Or if he has another Mihawk, that'd also be very good for him. Be able to bottom deck potentially that 2-cost blocker Shirahoshi or the Kuzan that just take pressure off for next turn.
I would just get rid of the 2-cost Shirahoshi. But
Oh, he also does have Red Rock, so he could get rid of this ace this turn.
is that
So there's a bounce Kaido right there. It looks like a Gravity Blade as well. Yep. So looks like he wants the Kaido the turn, not next turn, but the turn after.
Ezekiel has.
Yep. So he does
Yep.
red rock the ace, which is good. Takes some form of pressure off, and now you can swing 9 into the Kuzan and probably take the Shirahoshi. Nope. Decides to keep it up.
Yeah, because the 10 cost Kaido cannot bounce Rush Ace, so actually that probably was the best time, just the red rock. Well,
Yeah.
another big body isn't on board.
Unfortunately, though, right now, Ezekiel is sitting at 7 life and Tommy is at 2. If Tommy had a Yamato, he would have been able to pop the Mihawk there.
Yep.
But establishes another rush ace, bringing him to 3 life. Does not have rush since he's over 2 life.
I think he is planning on like using Yamato to pop.
I do think so also. Ends up bouncing the blocker Shirahoshi there.
Could he not?
Yep, there goes Yamato
Yeah.
popping the Kaido. Very unfortunate there for Ezekiel. Does have
Yeah.
another bounce Kaido though.
Because I know he wasn't gonna. Well, I guess even if he swung in with the Mihawk, then Mihawk would be the KO target.
Correct. Also, this is where if he would have took that life earlier, would have been in a little better spot.
Yep.
Ends up drawing a card off of Durashi, right there off of life. So at this point, do you establish another Kaido, or does he have another card to pop it? Yep.
Yeah.
Chooses not to bounce any cards on Tommy's side of the field.
I think he just doesn't want to give Shirahoshi, so it's either he could, so he can't just cycle through his hand, and if he does Katakuri that into life, it does suck, but that is a bounce target with another Kaido.
Correct. Yeah, and it's just another Connor as well at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But
Also,
Ezekiel needs to see a pudding right here.
yeah.
Oh, Katakuri's the Shirahoshi back into life. So this is where having that card back in his hand
And
would
with
have
the
been
blocker,
beneficial.
yep. Yeah, because Enel is playing this right. Just got to win the big body battle.
Got 8 cards in hand right now as an L. Swings 5 at the Anel. Counters out with a 1K.
Yep.
Was probably banking on him taking the life, drawing the 3, trashing 1, and then
pudding.
putting.
Yeah.
10 total life on the field right now.
Yep.
So ends up swinging with the Mihawk, and he trashes another Shirahoshi from hand. I do not see the pudding.
Shirahoshi, Frankie.
Oh, bounces.
The blocker and 8 drop.
Yep. And ends up getting the draw off leader ability there
Yep.
since he was at 5.
Now Enel.
He
Okay.
could drop the Katakuri and do the same play he just did last turn,
Yep.
putting the 5 cost back into his hand.
Did get the Rygo, so I'm assuming that's what he's going to be doing.
Oh, unfortunate. Puts the
Or-
Dofi to the
nope.
bottom of life. And he's discarding a card as well.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, because now at 8.
Ends up giving him a Sengoku. And then 10 at the Mihawk again.
Yeah, and this is exactly the position that Enel wants to beat. Yep, and there's the Rygo.
Rygo to get rid of that.
Which I want to say that was his draw for a turn. But yeah, no, that was great execution.
The only thing here Ezekiel needs is a pudding, and that's not even established a good spot either.
And also because of life total, Tommy can just Yamato again and pop that Mihawk.
Yep. and heal on top
Yep.
of it.
So I think that's is that 10 cost Kaidos
Yeah,
he's gone
two
through?
10-cost Kaidos have been knocked.
Yeah.
Ends up swinging, I believe he declared 12 at the ace.
Seemed like that was is that 19 a day? Or
Oh, no, he swung big at the ace. I just
yeah,
realized what he
just got to
did.
get rid of him. So 2, this is where if he has Yamato, he's just going to play that down, get rid of that Mihawk.
At this point, would you swing Boa at his leader and then swing the Mihawk? Because if you swing with the Boa, he gives you a 1K counter. You could pass turn. If he takes a life and triggers leader ability, you swing with the Mihawk and you ask for 3 cards.
Yeah, but the thing is, if it doesn't work out, like that's hard to come back from because he needed to establish those blockers because otherwise then he could just swing into both those big bodies or like
Well,
another Rygo.
still establish the blockers, but at least poke 5 and then play out the 2 blockers still. So ends up playing a Katakuri and puts the Shirahoshi back into life.
Yep.
Playing out the blocker again. Swings 5 at the Kaido to try to bait out a counter from Ezekiel there. Ezekiel looked like he was ready to give him a counter card for a
Yeah.
second.
So right now, I mean, if you don't swing, Yamato can pop anything on the board.
Yeah.
I mean, you just have to swing for life.
You have to pressure, yep. You have to pressure his life here.
Because you have your 2 blockers, so like you're somewhat okay.
Yes. Ends up playing the buggy, trying to look at top 3 to see what else to play. All he has there is a Kaya, another buggy, and
then
a
this.
7-drop Dofi.
Yeah. But 7-drop, but bounces a 7 or less back to hand.
Yeah,
Right.
7 or less back. Back in the Dofi mirrors, it was Dofi to bounce their Dofi
Yeah.
to bounce mine back. Ends up gravity blading both Kuzan.
Like pick order for. Oh,
Oh, he let Ezekiel choose the order of what it goes down to the bottom. I don't think it matters, does it, for gravity blade?
I'm not sure. I mean, maybe technically, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
At this point, it's probably better to swing 7, 9, and 12. No.
Yeah.
He's playing. So Ezekiel ended up passing. I believe putting pressure on the Dofi would have been a little bit better.
You should have because we're at a 10 life threshold, but didn't have it. You might be looking for another Yamato or Rygo.
So
Yep,
ends up doing the
get rid of
Yamato,
Mihawk.
popping the Mihawk. And this is where putting the pressure on the NL would have been the better move there, especially
It
after
was.
removing the blocker.
Yeah, I think you needed to.
So the owner of the cards that got bottom deck gets to choose the order they go into, since it is their bottom deck.
Yeah.
So thank you, James Company, for the clarification. So they're talking about the previous plays. Ezekiel decided to counter out of the last swing he swung at because he thought he was in a swing of leader as well.
Yeah.
So he baited him out into giving him a counter. Even then, I would have took both swings. But this is where being a little bit more aggressive the turn prior, swinging 7 and then 9 and then 12 with the Kaido, or 10. I forget what that Kaido
Because at the
text
very
that is.
least, it's just going to get counter out of hand. Even if he Rygo's a body instead, at least it's not establishing another big body like Yamato.
Yeah. So ends up drawing since he bounces the buggy back to his hand
Yeah.
and then replays the buggy.
I think he's. I think he's been trying to
He's
find
trying to find pudding
puddings. Yeah, that's what it was.
and has been unsuccessful. It's probably in his life, to be honest.
Probably.
But at this point, Anel's pretty much stacked to just swing out with everything. Three big bodies, one flampe. Flampe could put in work. Chooses to swing 5 at life. Considered on countering. Gets a Kaya. Swings 8, 9. And he's probably going to swing 9 again with the other Yamato.
Yep. He still has all 10 Dawn. I'm assuming maybe that's an ace.
Even then, Ace would not have rush, but it's still good to
Well,
establish
he
that
could
body.
choose not to heal, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he could choose not to heal and still rush.
Yeah. He showed him his entire hand there in a second.
Okay, so there's the Raigo.
So ends up Raigoing the Kaido.
Yep. Oh,
I guess he heard people playing Digimon and it threw him off. So yeah, at this point, it's a pretty rough situation here for Ezekiel.
Yeah, because Boa, like, it can control, but it has to control with the tempo of the game. Being on the back burner, you're not making some magic moves.
Mm-hmm.
But there's the pudding he was looking for.
Finally saw the pudding that he needed when he had the Kaido on board. We're getting a different POV of Ezekiel and Tommy here. So Red rocks a Yamato off the field.
Yep.
Down to 5 cards. And chooses to pass. He does have Jozu, but Jozu really won't do much, especially with that Shirahoshi on the field.
Yeah, because I think right now he'd be like, he's okay just taking the life because then he's going to cycle with Shirahoshi.
Mm-hmm. So chose to swing 5 at life, ends up countering with a Kaya, and ends up taking the Kata swing. He could block with the Law here as well. Chooses to just take it.
Seems like an ace, yeah.
And then now he's going to get a blocker.
Yeah, if Enel didn't have the 2-cost Shirahoshi blocker on the field, I'd say like it's still possible for the Boa to win, but having to use Dawn to maybe remove it, you need all the Dawn that you could use to stack on Jozu and chip apart their big bodies.
Yeah. He could swing out for game with Buggy.
He could.
So swinging 12 into the ace, deciding whether to counter out, and he gives him 4K counter.
Yep.
He's going to swing 9 into the Katakuri and just gave him the Shirahoshi.
Yep.
Looks like that pudding at least gave him into some type of counter card there.
Which that's all he needed at that point, to be honest.
So 3 bodies here, 1 blocker Law, does the Kuzan to put the Law back into life. And then now he's going to have to pitch a card off that Kuzan ability as well. And here comes the bombardment. And all on leader. And that is game. Tommy takes round 2 of Top Cut.